Lights up on Washington Heights. Up at the break of day, I wake up and I got the slow.
Hi, Lin. My name is Jack Duran from San Diego Red. How's it going for you?
Good. How are you?
Fine, thanks. With all the mixture of different cultures in this movie, what was the message behind it?
I think the goal, first and foremost, was to represent ourselves with joy. When I started writing this, I was 19 years old. I loved musicals. I hardly ever saw Latinos in musicals. It was sort of West Side Story, a couple of parts in Chorus Line, and that's really kind of it, unless you count Men of La Mancha. And so I started writing in the Heights because I was writing what was missing. I wanted a life in this business and I didn't see our stories being told. And then when I found Kiara, who had just graduated from Brown, where she'd gotten her master's in playwriting, we started working on it together. And that's really when it took an evolutionary leap. And listen, I'm first generation. My parents are Puerto Rican. My mom is half Mexican. My wife is Dominican and Austrian. So I don't know what hyphen you apply to our kids. And then there's, and Kiara's Puerto Rican Jewish. So like when you grow up with inheriting lots of different cultures, how on earth do you define yourself? On how on earth do you define home? And I think that's the thing that all of the characters are struggling with some version of that question.
¿Qué tan difícil fue coordinar a todos los actores para que se aprendieran sus rutinas en medio de la pandemia y los retos a los que se enfrentaron?
Bueno, filmamos esto antes de la pandemia. Nosotros filmamos esta película en el verano de 2019. I mean, it's still hard. Porque tuviste las rutinas de baile en este show son increíbles. Corey y Leslie tenían que aprender a bailar en el lado de un edificio que estaba cambiando sus ángulos en lo que estaban bailando. Pero también a la misma vez a ver a otra generación de actores encontrar su ritmo y su manera de ser comunidad. It felt like watching, when we were doing the Broadway version, it was sort of like watching a new group of actors create their heights. Fue un orgullo.
Sí, de verdad es un orgullo, la representación latina. Gracias por todo eso.
Gracias.
What inspirations did you have to make all the musical numbers from other musicals that you inspired or from real situations that you experienced?
All of it. I mean, it's the mix of influences. Some of them are in the movie now, right? Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but Ruben Blades is the first voice you hear singing Breathe. He's not on screen, but I had him sing the vocals. So you hear, sigue andando el camino por... That's Ruben Blades' voice. And Ruben Blades was both my hero growing up because of the way he just kind of was brilliant at whatever he did. He was acting a movie and he would be brilliant. And then he would go write the best album you ever heard. And then he'd go home and like work on behalf of Panama. And then he would come back and record another album. Just kind of a real trailblazer. So musically, that's a big influence. Juan Luis Guerra, a big influence. I mean, a lot of the Dominican music that I grew up listening to in my neighborhood, Oro Solido, Juan Luis Guerra, Victor, in terms of the Latin influence. And then, the hip hop, it's all in more concentrated form in Hamilton, but I grew up in 90s hip hop, and that's really what you hear represented in the Heights too. I mean, it's really it is that boom bap of the hip hop I grew up loving. So again, it was bringing all of my influences to the table, and again, like, you copy your heroes, and then when you fall short, you sound like yourself. And that's sort of where I've landed.
That's so interesting and sounds so magic.
Thank you.
And my first question will be to Corey Hawkins. Hi, Corey. How is it going for you?
I'm good, Jack. How you doing?
Fine. Thanks so much. What is the thing you are most proud about of your participation in this movie?
Well, I have to say I'm probably most proud of just the representation in this film, to be able to, and also most proud of the fact that this film is created, conceived, produced by all people of color, and I'm just, it's just so rare. And for it to be done so well. This is the level that we operate at, and proud of it. And I'm just now, after seeing the film, proud to have something that we can pass on to our children and our children's children. And it's a dream that I think will continue to live on, because it's a beautiful, beautiful film.
Do you think this movie will deliver a message for all the communities in order for us to be more close from other persons and other ideologies?
Yes, I think it will. And I think it'll deliver a message of unity within the community as well. Because I feel like within the Latinx community, we're still very divided. Mm-hmm. And in this movie, Jon and Lin wanted everyone to feel represented. So every single flag of every Latin American country is present in the movie at one point, because we didn't want to leave anyone out, because this is a universal story. It's a story about immigrants, but it's a story that it's not exclusive to the Latinx community. So I think that it is a very powerful message, and it's a message of the struggle, yes, but the power of dreams and the power of a community that lifts each other up. And I think that's, everyone will be able to see themselves in this movie. And hopefully people come out of the theaters thinking, wow, like we're all alike. We all have the same dreams. We all have the same aspirations, the same needs. And we should, be empathetic of everyone's journey. And I think that this movie definitely has the power to do that.
What's the most valuable thing you learned after participating in this movie, Olga?
After participating in this movie, I think I tell everybody that I started from the very beginning, from the workshops and the off-Broadway, the Broadway. Never in my wildest dreams did I think that I would go from the readings and have this journey all the way to the cinema. I tell Lin-Manuel this story, he knows it. At the beginning, I was telling my agents, I was like, I don't know, these kids, they're rapping. It's a rap musical. I'm not sure if I want to do it. I don't know, I'll give it a try. It's got a lot of heart. Okay, I'll give it a shot. And look at where it's got me and where it's got the Latino community. Sometimes you just have to go with that little voice inside of you and just say, take a chance, because it was very small at the beginning. It just it grew. And now it's, now with John Chu on board, it's huge. I don't know. Well, Abuela Claudia, what I tried to, Lin wrote this beautiful song, Lin and Kiara Alegria Judas, and she is like the quintessential matriarch. I tried to make her into the mother that we all wanted to have. And I took a little bit of my own abuelas and my own grandmothers and aunts and my own people in my family and friends, and tried to make her this giving, supportive matriarch, that she didn't have children of her own. So this community, these are her children. And there are a lot of women like that, that are caretakers, and they're not necessarily mothers themselves, but they're supportive of their community, and they take care of people. And I tried to make her into that all giving, supportive mother.
On so many levels, the abuelita character is kind of the heart and soul of the community, the person that you go to for advice.
That's right.
For consolement, for support.
That teaches you about the world, that has so much wisdom to give, has seen it all. Oh, well, I love working with Jimmy. He's so relaxed, and he's such a mensch, and he's just buena gente. He's like easygoing, and he's experienced, and it's good to work with people like him. And
thank you, Olga.
No, I mean it.
We both come from theater backgrounds.
That's right.
And so we understand what the word ensemble means.
Yes.
And an ensemble, el elenco in Spanish, but the ensemble, there are spokes in the wheel that make the wheel run smoothly. And I think that what impressed me so much with this group of young people that are at the forefront of this film is that they totally get, because of the fact that everybody had to kind of immerse themselves in this, they call it a musical boot camp that we had with dance and music prior to the filming of the movie. Everybody had to depend on each other. So the sense of ensemble is so strong when I watch those scenes between Corey and Leslie and Anthony and Melissa. They're just so strong, that sense of community. And so besides that, we got energy from the community when we were filming as well. So that sense of ensemble is just so, it just preeminates every aspect of the film. I see it in every frame of the movie. When in Olga's beautiful Paciencia and Fe sequence in the subway, it's just there.
Yeah, and I want to reiterate what Jimmy says, that it was musical boot camp, and when something was shooting, there were 5 other rooms rehearsing. Everybody was working at the same time in different areas, in different rooms. And when we did, for example, Paciencia y Fe, I had to rehearse with the dancers, and the dancers had to be seamless with me. We had to be one. And I had to sit down and talk to them and tell them about the story of an older person that only has the past. Because they were so young, the dancers, and they had all these questions, because in order to do that number, they had to understand this journey of this character, this older character that has been through everything and has come from Cuba, and what she had to go through. And they had to understand the emotions and what the character went through in order to dance with me. And do this number together, like Jimmy says, the ensemble, and put it all in one number. And that what was happening in this movie at all times. We had to very fast become one, become a community, and feed off each other.
And that's where John Chu is just like amazing as a director, as a visual kind of cinematic auteur. He just fit right in with Lynn's and Kiara's vision of the play and expanded on it, and then did some visual things which are just stunning. Just take my breath away. And having knowing this play, watching it as an audience member, watching Olga do it off Broadway and Broadway, and to see it visualized with John Chu's ideas, and making this story universal in so many ways. It's just
I feel like, yes, Crazy Rich Asians is one of my favorite movies, but I really feel like this is the movie John Chu was born to make. I really feel that from the bottom of my heart. It's, people are just going to be blown away.
He did some wonderful stuff. It's just a pleasure, and I'm mentioning, I brought that up because that whole sense of ensemble just continued from Lynn and Kiara to John to everybody, every actor on that set, whether you had the lead role and you were doing 15 songs or you were doing one little tiny dance move. It was seamless in that regard. Yep. So it's our little gift. We hope with the vaccine, it brings a little bit of joy.
Gracias.
Gracias.